Welcome back to America's Forum as we continue the conversation with Michael Patrick Flanagan. We might rename this particular portion of our broadcast the Chicago Way. So, Michael, the president goes on 60 Minutes over the weekend saying, oh, look, I found out about this Hillary thing the way you did from news accounts. Then yesterday, his press secretary, the appropriately named Josh Earnest, comes out and says, hey, the president did email Secretary Clinton directly. Does the president really have plausible deniability saying he didn't look at the email address from his Secretary of State?
I think Josh Earnest's response is as good as he could do, and if the press weren't entirely in the tank for Obama, they'd be looking for a new press secretary. The gist of what he said was, well, no, Obama isn't a liar. He's just mistaken, and he's not a complete idiot because he understands that there is an email address that's personal, but he's just a little bit of an idiot because he really didn't understand the complete ramifications of it. That's the translation of what Ernest had to say, and it's a mess. If we can go back real quick to what Alan Dershowitz said about evil intent, and you picked up on that too. I don't think there is an evil intent. It is their nature. There's nothing evil or good about it. It is what it is. This is what we've elected. And we knew it when we did it. When you saw David Axelrod in the room, when you saw Rahm Emanuel taking over as chief of staff, when you saw Valerie Jarrett, the Chicago guys moving in, you knew you were electing political animals more than you were electing a statesman. And that is something that we chose to do as a nation twice. And this is what we have. It's not necessarily evil. It's just motivated for the purposes of self-preservation politics as opposed to the welfare of the nation.
Well, perhaps not evil. But the Chicago Way, you knew it for a fact because you grew up there. But I think a lot of Americans, when they heard Hope and Change, really had that writ large and did not understand just what kind of Cook County machinations they'd be subject to during these two terms.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, you and I went through that many times. The pollsters would come in and say, here are your key words, and here are the special things that resonate this week in our groups, and be sure to use these in your talking points. And Hope and Change were really big words that sound good, that do well, that Obama's a good speaker when he's using the teleprompter anyway, and so it works out really well that he can get that across. I mean, now that I'm going to get 5 audits in a row for the last 6 years of my life, I might as well tell you all the secrets, and the answer is, I think that they're not evil people. I want to make that clear. They're just motivated by wanting to preserve and grow their brand and grow their strength, and they see an obstacle to that not in the Iranians, not in the Israelis, not in the Iraqis, not anywhere else in the world. They see it in the Republican Party, and that's why that's the focus of much of what they do.
As strange that the Republican Party, at least in the Congress by and large, has rolled over. But let me get to the second part of the equation in today's big news. Hillary Clinton going out to meet the press. She grew up in the Chicago suburbs, was an acolyte of Saul Alinsky. What do you expect in terms of Chicagoese from Hillary today?
I think this myth that Hillary is some kind of moderate and she's too moderate for the left, the crazy left, the left wingers, is crazy. It's just nuts. Remember the first 2 years of Clinton? That's Hillary. Hillary care, one deal after another that swept in a Republican Congress. She's not a moderate. She's just as liberal as Obama, only I think she might be a little smarter. And this is why she's dangerous, and we really need to watch this election very closely and work very hard for the candidate of our choice.
30 seconds for this one. You say it's not evil, but didn't Saul Alinsky dedicate Rules for Radicals to Lucifer? So there's some aspect of evil there, is there not, or was that tongue-in-cheek?
Well, I think Saul Alinsky is plenty evil, and I think there's a lot of evil in the humanist, anti-God, anti-view of the universe, that it's all about us here and now, and it's not about some ultimate good. Once you take good and evil out of any discussion, you wind up with an atheistic, humanistic view of it. And that's certainly Saul Alinsky, but I think the dedication to Lucifer was more to make a point that it's about not about any
there must be some diabolical intervention with the Skype right there, Michael. It was disrupting a little bit. Listen, thanks for your time this hour. Speaking of Hillary, she's going to come out and speak to the press this afternoon. We will cover it on Newsmax TV, and we're coming back.